Hi, my name is Mario. I'm one of the chefs at Cooking with Carlo at 3B's, and I'm going to cook one of my favorite dishes, which is what my grandmother used to make, and that's just a traditional Italian braciole. So what we're going to do is, this is probably one of the easiest dishes to prepare at home, and all you really need is some top round meat, beef. You could use ribeye if you like the beef to have a little bit more of a stew-like consistency when we're done, where it just breaks apart. I like to use the top round because I like to stuff my braciole with a bunch of ingredients, and you can really have fun with this. I know people that will stuff the braciole with with pine nuts, with walnuts. The Germans, we do a German fare here, which is a rouladen, and we'll stuff that with hard-boiled egg and pickles. So pretty much you can do whatever you like with this dish. But I'm going to stick with, I'm going to do right by my grandmother, and I'm going to do it how she did it. So what I have here is top round, cut very thinly. You can almost see the light through it. And you can get this at your supermarket or a local butcher, and they will gladly cut it. You just got to tell them that you're making braciole, and they'll know exactly, or at least they should know exactly what you're looking to do. So, only variation from my grandmother's recipe is that she used to make the bracioles very tiny, and they were an addition to your dish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the bracioles a little bit larger so that you can actually have the braciole as your main course. So, I like to use 3 cuts of top round, and I like to layer them. Now, it's very important that you get this right, that you layer them and you overlap. You're probably going to want to overlap it about 1/2 inch over each other. So I take 3 pieces and I overlap them. This is going to become really important, especially when you roll it, because you don't want any of that great ingredients that you're putting inside it to bleed out. Now, you want to coat, once you have your meat layered just the way you want it, you're going to want to coat it with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. It's very important. And that's going to help the braciole take in all of those flavors from the ingredients that we're going to stuff it with. Added my olive oil. Now I'm going to add some kosher sea salt, and I add a little bit black pepper to the salt. Saves a step. So you're going to sprinkle the braciole. You can salt to taste. I don't like to put a lot of salt in my food. And then we have whole milk mozzarella. Just grated whole milk mozzarella. You don't want to use the part skim mozzarella that you can get at a grocery store because you really want some of the fats from the cheese to melt into the beef. I have some coarse ground garlic. You know, what's an Italian dish without garlic, right? So we add some garlic to it. I like to add a lot. You can just use a pinch, but the garlic is important. I add a lot of garlic, and I'll discuss this later, and it's because I'm also going to be cooking this in a tomato sauce. I didn't add any garlic to my tomato sauce, so I want the flavors of the garlic to bleed into the tomato sauce, a traditional ragu. We're going to add some fresh diced parsley all throughout. And now here's what my grandmother liked to use. She combined Pecorino Romano and Parmigiano Reggiano, 2 of the kings of cheeses in the world, both Italian in origin. Pecorino is a goat cheese. Well, it's done with sheep milk, correction. And the Parmigiano Reggiano is traditionally done with cow's milk. And so the Pecorino has a little bit more salty taste to it, which is why I limit how much salt I put on the braciole. And the Parmigiano Reggiano gives a little bit of more of a sweeter taste to it. You don't want to use a lot, just enough to coat the top. And then lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to add Italian breadcrumbs. These are seasoned Italian breadcrumbs. You can get them at any grocery store. You can make them yourself. These I happen to make myself. I baked the bread, and then I just took it in a traditional cheese grater, grated it up, added some parsley, added some Parmigiano Reggiano to it, added a little bit of oregano, and some dried basil to it. So, but If you want to skip the step, using a regular pre-seasoned Italian breadcrumb will do the trick just as well. So now we have all of those laid into the meat, and this is the fun part. We're going to have to roll it. So what I have here is 3 bamboo skewers. I'll leave them here, and this is the trick. You want to roll the first end and kind of form a little pocket, just like so. Be sure to press firmly. Make sure that those layers that you set aside an inch apart or about a ½ inch apart don't come apart on you. And you're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going to fold this end and this end. You're basically forming a little pocket. This is how, there's other ways to do it. I don't like any of the ingredients to bleed out. And keep in mind, you're going to be boiling this in a tomato sauce. So it's very important. So much like you're making a burrito, you're going to use your fingers and your thumbs to hold the meat together and roll it. Now you're going to hold it. Push down firmly. And now you're going to hold it together by using the bamboo skewers. And through. And through. And through. Now, I like to use bigger skewers because I take the time. I never want to have a small skewer. So then I just cut the ends on your cutting board. Break that one off. Okay. And that's only because I want to add more than one Braciole to my sauce. So now, while I've been preparing the Braciole, I've got a traditional tomato sauce, and it's boiling. I want to bring it to a simmer. You're going to cook the Braciole for about a ½ an hour. And it depends on, it really depends on the type of tomato sauce that you're using. So here I'm just using a traditional San Marzano tomato for my ragu. And the reason for that is the San Marzano tomato, its skin is a lot lighter. It's not as dense, and so it's going to break down and turn into the ragu. That's going to actually increase the cook time of the Braciole itself. So take Grandma's Braciole. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Stir. Submerge the Braciole into the sauce. It's important that the Braciole, you're able to stir the pot. So if you made it too wide, you got to cut the ends off and re-skewer it. You got to do it, so make sure that you're using a big enough pot. Braciole is going to cook at low heat. You're going to lower the heat, and you're going to probably let that boil for about a ½ an hour. Once it's ready, the meat, you remove the skewers from it. Very important that you remove the skewers from it because you don't want your guests to bite into a piece of bamboo. And so let that cook for a while. And what the Braciole should end up looking like a little bit of tomato. So you can serve this over a bed of pasta. I like to eat the Braciole in its entirety as a meal, so I might eat 2 of these. It depends. And I like to just coat it with sauce. Some people like to melt some cheese on it. Not the traditional way to do it, but I like to melt a little bit of cheese on it or add a little bit of more Parmigiano Reggiano. But I'm a cheese lover. But real simple dish that you're able to do. You can have a lot of fun with it. Use your creativity. Add pine nuts to it, add different types of vegetables, and that's it. Hopefully Grandma's proud of me for showing you how to do this, and bon appetit.